In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Darth Vader for the Saga collection, and this is a repack action figure specific to his duel with his son Luke Skywalker on Bespin. This is an action figure I have always known of his existence since its release. I think it was kind of a peg warmer back in the day. But as time has gone on, I've grown a little bit more of an interest in acquiring this action figure for a few reasons. One, the accessories were always interesting to me, and as you can see by the objects there, those are basically the Bespin props that, of course, Vader uses the Force to throw at his son. But I was thinking perhaps the boxes there might fit in with the cantina as well. So we'll see, just something a little bit small to add to that scene. And of course I'll be adding that here very soon. But for another reason, as I mentioned, this Vader is just basically a straight repack, but there is a little bit of a difference with this one. Earlier in the Saga collection, as part of the Hoth wave of action figures, this Vader was released as well, but instead that one had the loose dome on it. And I do have that action figure, and it is reviewed on channel. I would recommend checking that out. But the dome has always been very loose on my sample, and I think that was the case for all of them. In fact, it's very annoyingly loose. From my understanding, this one is glued down. Now, I've always liked this Vader sculpt, so I thought I should have a sample on hand where I don't have to worry about the loose dome at all. So I think I have a few good reasons to go ahead and get this Vader. And of course, I know some people will probably say, oh, it's not the most up-to-date Vader at this point. Yes, that's true, but it's still a very nice sculpt, and it'll fit in with the other action figures I have from the era. So I have this iconic Saga collection packaging. Empire Strikes Back up there. Vader in the accessories. Image of Vader there. Just have it labeled as Darth Vader. Saga number 38. And for his description there, says, Bespin Confession. Darth Vader has sinister plans to use Cloud City's carbon freezing chamber. Reluctant to try its crude process on the Emperor's prize, Luke Skywalker, Vader decides to test it first on Han Solo. The process works, and although Luke finds his way into the chamber, Vader's plans fail as Luke escapes and confronts him in a heated lightsaber combat. At the end of this dramatic battle, Vader confesses to Luke the secret that has burned within him. He is indeed Luke's father. And the other action figures from the line, I do have the Sand Trooper reviewed on channel. I used to own the Hammerhead, but I hope to reacquire him at some point. I hope to get his character Fowl here from the Tartakovsky series. I hope to get this Cantina patron here. And of course, Garandon. I'd like to get him as well. Image of Vader. And another Darth Sidious hologram, which I already have one. I don't mind having another. I will go ahead and get Vader open, and we'll take a closer look at him. So this Vader does indeed have the glued down dome, which I greatly appreciate. Make it much easier to display, and I don't have to worry about it being loose or falling off or anything of that sorts. But other than that, it's pretty much the same Vader as the Hoth one I have. I don't have that action figure on hand right now. He's actually holding up most of my TBC Stormtroopers right now, and if I moved him, it's probably going to be Dominoes. But at some point I will do a comparison of the two, perhaps a future video or a future scene or something of that sorts. But I will be bringing out a complementary character here in a moment. So like I said, not the most up-to-date Vader sculpt at this point, but I still think it's pretty good. If you had only one Vader for your collection, this is the one you had, I think you're still in pretty good hands. Helmet sculpt is good. Dome looks good. There's a little bit of a gloss to it. The mask looks good. You can see there with the dome being in place. Has the cape here with the chain. This is armor here. Some ropes here are plastic. Belt. These elastic bands are probably going to deteriorate in time, in a short while. But this Vader does have a little bit of a hard time holding onto the lightsaber. Of course, he can't really do it with this hand because it has the open palm. But this one, definitely have to work with it a little bit. You have the soft goods skirt here. And his boots. It does have the display stand. Interestingly enough, they did not include an Empire Strikes Back one. They just put the Star Wars logo, which is meant to represent A New Hope. The more of the Saga Collection action figures I get, the more I see the discrepancies with some of the film titles with the characters. I think like the Clone Sergeant, for instance, they may have put Empire Strikes Back for that one. And get all these to show up in the background here. Yeah, that's a pretty good stance for them. Articulation is pretty basic, but it has a little bit to it. Swivel at the neck and swivel shoulders. I think he would have benefited from at least hinge shoulders, but that is what it is. And the swivel elbows, swivel forearms. I think there is a swivel waist there, yeah. A little difficult because the belt is a separate piece here and it's probably going to move with it. And then, of course, it'll move the skirt. So be careful. Then swivel hips and hinge knees. And I think that's it. Nothing in the ankles, yeah. So it's still pretty good articulation for them. And, of course, for accessories, you have his lightsaber. Pretty much the same as always for Vader. No unignited hilt, and I don't think there's a spot on his belt to even put a lightsaber anyway, which is alright. The randomized hologram. I don't mind having another Darth Sidious. Imperial logo on the bottom. Still missing a few of them, like Yoda, for instance, and the Rebel Fleet Trooper. Now for the extra accessories or the boxes here. Not a whole lot to say about them, but like I said, I think there'll be some nice props to add to the cantina. And they're all hollowed out. Miss the days of getting accessories like this. Hasbro would probably include this as like a deluxe accessory these days. And this one. But not much they can really do. Just nice for props. I'm glad to have them. And I think that's about it I can really say about Vader. I will bring out a very relatable character to him for this scene. See how he looks with Luke here. And yeah, they look pretty good together. It's about a 5 or 6 year difference between these two action figures. And they complement each other pretty good. But I think that's all I can say about Vader. Would I recommend him for your collection? I would. Of course, if you're probably looking for the best of the best Vader, you're probably going to want the TVC ones. But if you're just looking for a good budget Darth Vader, I didn't pay very much for this Vader at all, only about $8 or $9 or so. But if you're on a budget and you really want a Darth Vader action figure, this is definitely a great contender for you. Should be readily available online or even at comic book stores and things like that. Like I said, back in 2006 and 7, I distinctively recall him peg warming heavily, and he did get lots of repacks. But if, like, the loose dome bothers you, for instance, and like I said, it is a very loose accessory on the Hoth Vader, I would recommend this one so it's glued down. But if you really want to see the back of Vader's head, get the Hoth one. But very nice action figure. Happy it's part of the collection. But anyways, if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.